What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Antonio Brown just got extradited back to the United States, and he is facing an attempted murder charge that could put him away for years. This is not a misdemeanor. This is not a disturbance call. We are talking about second-degree attempted murder, a charge that can carry up to 15 years in prison. And let me say this right now so everybody hears me clearly. This is one of the most predictable turns and one of the most chaotic falls we have ever seen in sports. Because with Antonio Brown, chaos is not a moment. Chaos has become a lifestyle.
Liz, former Super Bowl champ Antonio Brown is facing second-degree attempted murder charges. Police say the 37-year-old was taken into custody in Dubai and extradited to the U.S. He's being held in a New Jersey jail and will then be flown to Miami. Earlier today, he waived an extradition hearing, and Miami authorities have 10 days to transport him back to Florida. What is this case all about? Well, Brown is accused of shooting a man outside a celebrity boxing event in Miami back in May. One video posted to social media shows Brown fighting several people he claimed were trying to rob him. But detectives with the Miami Police Department say after looking at surveillance and cell phone images from the incident that Brown was clearly the aggressor. That's according to Miami police. They allege he shot twice at a man he'd fought with earlier and grazed his neck. And in videos obtained by investigators, Brown can allegedly be seen holding what police say is a black pistol and chasing someone. Moments later, off camera, shots are heard being fired. Back in June, a month after the boxing event, police issued a warrant for Brown's arrest, but Brown never turned himself in. Instead, police say he has been posting on social media videos from Dubai in what authorities say was incidents of taunting them that he was on the lam.
The details of this incident are disturbing, troubling, and downright sad because it didn't have to be this way. This altercation happened outside of a boxing event hosted by Aiden Ross, an event that should have been about entertainment, not shooting. Police received reports of gunshots. Officers arrive and the first name out of everybody's mouth is Antonio Brown. They patted him down, no gun on him, but they found an empty holster and 2 spent shell casings. And that alone would have been enough to raise eyebrows. But then came the video footage. Detectives say the video shows Antonio Brown punching a man, then taking a security officer's weapon, and then running towards that same man while holding a gun. The victim says he was shot at twice and grazed in the neck. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a misunderstanding. This ain't no mix-up. This is a potentially life-ending decision. And a decision only Antonio Brown could talk itself into making. But here's where this story gets even more troubling. This incident didn't just come out of nowhere. There was a history between AB and the victim, Zulkrudian Kwame Nutabu. And that history is one of the most reckless and bizarre stories you will hear this year. Back in 2022, they met on a flight to Dubai. AB sees a jeweler with a chain he likes. The man lets him wear it. AB never gives it back. Not only that, he accuses the jeweler of stealing $3 million from him, falsely. And that false accusation got that man arrested in Oman. He spent 4 days in jail with no mattress and no windows. Then he spent 40 days detained in Dubai, all because Antonio Brown lied. And now, years later, their paths cross again. And it ends with gunshots, shell casings, and an extradition order. This ain't bad luck. This is a pattern of disaster caused by Antonio Brown himself. I want to say something to the people who would defend this. The people who say he just needs help or he's being targeted. Yeah, he needs help, but you can't help a man who keeps setting his own life on fire. Antonio Brown has burned every bridge with every team. He has burned every relationship with every friend. And now he may have burned away the last years of his freedom because this is no longer entertainment. This is criminal behavior with real consequences and real victims. Let's go back and remind folks who Antonio Brown used to be because maybe that makes this even more tragic. 7 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pro seasons, led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns at various times. One of the most unguardable receivers of his era. This was a man who could turn a slant route into a 70-yard touchdown. A man who ran routes like he was painting art on a green canvas. Talent-wise, he was a top 5 receiver of the last 20 years. But character-wise, he has been a bottom 5 human decision maker. Ever since his departure from Pittsburgh, the signs were there. Everybody saw him but him. The Raiders disaster, the helmet drama, the feet frostbite incident, the verbal attacks on coaches and teammates, the Bruce Arians walk-off mid-game with the Buccaneers, and every single legal trouble since then. It has been an unbroken line of self-inflicted mayhem. And this might be the final chapter. Let me tell you what makes this case different. It involves a firearm. This one involves a human being who could have lost his life. This one involves international extradition. You don't just walk away from that. You don't just post a video saying, I was jumped, and expect people to buy it. This is bigger than celebrity. This is bigger than football. This is a man who has reached a point where even law enforcement has said, enough is enough. And now he's back on U.S. soil to face those consequences. But let's take a moment here because there's a broader point that needs to be made. This is a story about what happens when you don't deal with your demons, when you let fame become a substitute for healing. Antonio Brown's talent was so high that it hid this damage for years. But life always catches up to you. And right now, life has caught up to Antonio Brown in a jail cell. And a courtroom is waiting for him next. Listen, success does not protect you from consequences. Fame does not give you immunity. And a contract cannot fix character. You have to fix that yourself. Antonio Brown never did that. And now he faces the biggest consequence of his life. As this trial moves forward, you will see videos, you will see witnesses. You will see a man who had the world in his hands and let it slip through his fingers every single year since he left Pittsburgh. This is a man who made himself unemployable, uncoachable, unreliable, and now undeniably accountable. And I'm going to take y'all out like this. I pray this is rock bottom for Antonio Brown. Not because I want to see him suffer, but because maybe rock bottom is the only place that will force him to look in the mirror. The NFL can't save him. The internet can't save him. The music videos can't save him. The controversial posts can't save him. The only person who can save Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.